What's up YouTube, my name is Nick Mo, and today we're talking Yooka Laylee. It's one of the most interesting games I've played this year, not because of gameplay or the worlds to explore, but because of how divisive Yooka Laylee is amongst critics and players. Some are calling Yooka Laylee the biggest Kickstarter flop since Mighty No. 9, while others refer to it as one of their favorite titles of the year. But how can it be both? Well, I believe Yooka Laylee is being reviewed under an incredible nostalgia microscope. The shadow of Banjo-Kazooie is always present. It's unavoidable. This is, after all, a Kickstarter game sold on the promise of reviving N64-style 3D platformers, and I believe it's accomplished that goal. The problem is, many reviewers are holding Yooka Laylee to a much higher standard. I think a lot of people believe that Yooka Laylee would reinvent the genre, that it would breathe life back into 3D platforming, bringing a new wave of similar games, and that's just not the case. What we do have is a standard 3D platforming adventure full of worlds to explore, items to collect, and enemies to defeat. So, with all that drama behind us, we have a question. Is Yooka Laylee worth playing? I think so. I think Yooka Laylee can be an enjoyable experience, but there are a few things you need to know before you play. First, you need to know that Yooka Laylee is not a direct follow-up to Banjo-Kazooie, but rather a follow-up to the entire N64 era of 3D platformers. You see, I've seen complaints about Yooka Laylee's large environments and sprawling structures. I've seen reviewers question why the levels are so much bigger than the original Banjo-Kazooie. I can only assume that many of these reviewers have never played Banjo-Tooie or Donkey Kong 64, the 3D platformers that came after Banjo-Kazooie and expanded the size of the play area. These games introduced large multi-piece worlds, much larger than the original levels in Banjo-Kazooie or even Mario 64. However, bigger doesn't always mean better, and many Banjo-Tooie players complained that it was easy to get lost in these oversized worlds, while others found all the new exploration more rewarding. In the end, it comes down to personal taste. Do you have the patience to get lost and find your way, or are you looking for a more linear area to explore? Was Banjo-Kazooie the only 3D platformer you enjoyed? If so, the expansive worlds of Yooka Laylee might not be for you. The second thing you need to know is what a collectathon is. It's not just a buzzword or a catchy phrase to throw in a game review. Collecting is a core element of classic N64 platformers and is very much a part of Yooka Laylee. A common complaint I see about the game is that there's simply too much to collect, and searching for the collectibles takes up too much time. I don't know how else to say this, so I'm just going to come out and say it. If you don't enjoy running, jumping, and climbing for shiny collectibles, do not play Yooka Laylee. It's simple as that. Collecting is what this game is about, and if that doesn't interest you, then I would advise you not to play. I'm unsure why so many reviewers are frustrated with a 3D collectathon having too many collectibles, but that's neither here nor there. The game can be completed without 100% collecting everything, and because there isn't a thrilling story to follow, you're free to explore and collect at your own pace, which is my recommendation. You should never feel rushed playing a game like Banjo-Kazooie or Yooka Laylee. Set your own pace and collect as much as you want, and you're going to have a much better time with it. Finally, you need to know that sometimes games can be overhyped, and that's okay. Yooka Laylee is a solid but flawed 3D platformer that fans of the genre will surely enjoy, but it's not going to win anyone over who didn't enjoy 3D platformers 20 years ago when they first came onto the scene. Yooka Laylee to the younger generation is not going to be what Banjo-Kazooie was for my generation, and that makes sense. Games have evolved significantly since then. With Yooka Laylee, we've kickstarted a game on the sole premise of nostalgia and looking back. And sometimes our past isn't quite what we remembered. At the time of its release, Banjo-Kazooie was a game changer, but in the year 2017, a 3D platformer won't be blowing anyone away, and that's okay. It just has to be good enough to give players an excuse to shut off the real world and go exploring for a while. And so we return to our core question: is Yooka Laylee worth playing? Ultimately, that's for you to decide, but for me, the answer was easy. I've enjoyed so many 3D platforming games in the past, I wanted to see what a game like Banjo-Kazooie could be in a modern context, and I'm glad I did. Though it was far from perfect and was pretty uneven in spots, I overall enjoyed my time with Yooka Laylee, and I can't wait to see what the creators at Playtonic Games will come up with next.